Namaskar. Uh, Welcome to this special edition of Navimash podcast. So today we are going to discuss the concluded election, the second phase election of West Bengal. So we thought because elections are over for West Bengal and now on 4th May we will have the results come in. So we thought let's invite our renowned guests. So they are not like election or analysis in a way, but we don't want to do that. What we want to do that is have guests, have invite guests who understand Bengal uh, from a rural perspective, from urban perspective, and who have observed Bengali politics for a few decades at least. So rather than having an expert view, we will have a common man's perspective about elections and what these elections mean for the people of Bengal, especially Hindu Bengalis. So, Namaskar, Devuda.
Namaskar. Good evening.
So
Namaskar.
we will also have Bijeet join us in a few minutes. He's stuck somewhere, but we'll also have Bijeet join very shortly. Bijeet, please join us. We are waiting for you. Devuda, first of all, this I have been observing politics for last 20 years. When I turned 2021, I was an avid listener of Atal Bihari Vajpayee's speeches in Parliament. So, and a lot of things are there. So, I'm observing for the last 20 years. I haven't seen this kind of election, whether it's national, whether it is regional. This kind of elections in the history of politics, the modern politics of India. What's your observations?
See, Bengal election, this kind of election is for the last 77 onwards. This is the most important election. And as the second phase of polling comes to an end, I must say that the man of the tournament is Ganesh Kumar. Nobody ever imagined an election where there is no pre-poll death, there is no post-poll. Post-poll, of course, we are waiting, but poll violence, there is no absolutely negligible poll violence. And he has proved what could be done in the Bengal politics. And the only solution has always been administrative action, police action, protection to voters. But nobody picked up the courage to provide all this. So Ganesh Kumar is the person who managed to pick up the courage and put these lumpen elements who have been ruling Bengal for the last 15 years. They have all been bolted. I don't know how he managed to do it, but the whole administration, yeah, welcome. Our guest is there. And
নমস্কার
Devuda,
নমস্কার
continue.
I have never seen this kind of election in Bengal in all my life. I'm 65 now. So what are the changes that I have seen? The main change is the TMC supporters, the avid TMC supporters. They were not very vocal this time. Whenever you ask a TMC supporter, ki dada ki hoche, what's going to happen in the election, he would go quiet. He's not vocal this time. He's very quiet. And the BJP supporters, of course, were very vibrant right from the beginning, and they were sensing victory. And what happens is a different matter. But the perception of the normal BJP supporter or BJP worker in Bengal this time was an open session of campaigning. Nobody feared anybody. Everybody went out in the streets. There were chutput cases of violence and all, but there were no kind of fearful things that usually happens before the election. And the opposition workers, I'm not talking about BJP only, the CPIM or the Congress, they were never able to do things as they wish to do. This time was a very, very refreshing change. And there's only one person to whom I can thank to whom I can be thankful enough, and that is Ganesh Kumar.
Yeah, thank you for this opening statement. So, over to you, Bijeet. So, I have you joined a little bit late, but I was just referring to the this election in 2026 being historical, and for the last even 30, 40 years, this kind of election has never happened, especially in West Bengal. So, with the conclusion of the second phase of elections, there are still maybe polling going on here and there, but overall the elections are over. So now you can talk freely. So your first observations on is this a historic election? Is this a pivotal moment in the modern history of Bengal?
Right. So now that the exit polls are already out, and I think out of five, six exit poll, let's say n number of exit polls, n minus one polls are predicting BJP is going to win, and only there is one poll, I think conducted by India TV, someone I think. So they are saying that TMC is going to win and by a huge margin. So now I think we can safely say most of the exit polls are actually favoring in for BJP. Now for these exit polls, I think looking at the number of, let's say, people who voted and everything, right, in different constituencies. So in the previous episode, we already talked about the basic assumptions that we are having before declaring that BJP is going to win this election. One was obviously the Lokhir Bhandar one. Second one was Chappa vote, right? Chappa vote. See, when you conduct a poll, let's say there is a common citizen who has casted his vote, one citizen, one vote. You ask him or her, they are going to say, okay, BJP ba TMC ke vote diyechi. But a Chappa voter, if you ask him or her, you are inherently assuming that this guy has casted only one vote. But for Chappa vote, that guy, the Chappa voter can give more than one vote, right? 4 to 10 to whatever, 15 votes. I think in 2021, how it happened, one part of the whatever scientific rigging or whatever you call it, um, was that there were many Chappa voters. So they used to find out safe booths, and they used to cast like, let's say, 150 Chappa vote from, let's say, 40 booths. And that is like 6,000 votes then and there. This time, looking at the numbers, right? I mean, the numbers are so huge. We don't know how many Chappa voters were there. People are saying that, okay, no Chappa vote happened. But Subhendu Adhikari, I think in the evening conference, he already told that, okay, there were like whatever, 400 Chappa voters he saved, and only I think 10 or 20 Chappa votes happened. Right. So BJP is probably going to this election, win this election, given that Chappa voting was in control. Having said that, right, from the, like in the first episode, we already talked that there is a clear trend, right, that people are actually coming, like people are voting with their feet, as if that they are coming out of their house like without fear, and they are casting their vote. And then we were assuming that maybe in Kolkata the voter turnout will be less than what we saw in the first phase of the election. That clearly did not happen. So it shows that probably people are voting with their feet, right, out of some resolve. Probably they want change. Because again, I think Lokir Bhandar, if you ask the ground level, booth level workers, they are saying that, okay, for the कि दीदी थाकले 1,500 दीदी गले 3,000 वाला जो that campaign, they distributed forms, they got some good response. And also the other point was that in Kolkata, right, you see that people who are not that much dependent on Lokhit Bhandar, the so-called Babu or urban people, they also voted in huge number. Now, if there exists a correlation, so to say, a resolve in the whole state, between, let's say, women coming from Bankura and women coming from, let's say, Kolkata Shohortoli or proper Kolkata. Then we see if there exists that intent. I think women, at least by 50-50, they have voted BJP and TMC. Now, 50-50 is a good number, right? When you think about the vote coming from women. The other point was that I think 53 or 55% of Hindu men voted for BJP in 2021. Now, if that is true, um, this is probably going to, I mean, that was the core BJP voter, right? Like 53% of Hindu youth. So they are probably going to continue, and the number is even going to increase because 72% of all of all Hindus they voted in the 2021. In Kolkata, the number was around 60%. Now this time, 90% of all Kolkata voters they voted this time in phase two. So which means ki in Kolkata the number that increased is 30%, right? From 60 to 90% almost. And overall from 72% we see a huge jump to 91 or 92%. Now, if we actually try to make sense of these numbers, right? One number I have already, one more number that was of interest was that 90 in the phase one at least, 91% of all like men actually voted, and 93% of all women voted. So there was a gap of 2%. Probably, I don't know whether that was coming from Loki Bhandar or something else. One reason might be that that is coming from the Muslim women actually, because a lot of Muslim men they came for the Eid, and after Eid they had to go back to where they work. That can lead to that extra 2% greater voting coming from the woman side, and that number actually in resonance with the fact that in Murshidabad, Malda, all those sides you see greater number of Muslim women actually voting than men. So taking care of all these numbers, right? Like considering all these numbers, one picture is clear that if chapa voting didn't happen this time, in any mean, these numbers are actually they are favoring BJP. Now, and also if this there is a sweep, right? If there is an undercurrent or whatever storm that is happening, actually BJP is going to get. I mean, BJP is going to touch 170 if they win the Birbhum, like this, try to, if they sweep Birbhum, Purbo Bardhaman, Jhargram, I think there are only 4 seats. Yeah, so that's, I think that's my conclusion that if Chappa voting didn't happen, BJP is going to win the election. I want to tell you one more number, which, well, I mean, a correlation, which was that you see in today's poll, right? From let's say 7 to 9, then 9 to 11, 11 to 1, Hooghly and Hooghly, Nodia, Purbo Bardhaman, they were leading in polling actually. Uh, which if we say that okay in Purbo Bardhaman there is a huge number of Muslim vote that is there. In Hooghly it was basically dominated by Hindu voters. So obviously again it shows some sort of resolve uh, behind the polling, right? So considering all this, I think BJP is going to have an edge, and which is correctly reflected in the exit polls as well. And I forgot. Namaskar, Devu sir. And yeah, sorry, I joined a little late. And yeah, so this was my initial submission to this on this topic.
Yeah, so it is apt done. It is called Sabr. We have a audience who has mentioned Sabr and Nazar. Both have been there this time. The election commission. So why this committee is important? So election commission is preparing for this for last 1 year. So it was very patient thing. The things were done, and when it was required, they also delivered. So Debuda, uh, 2011, 2011 and 2026. Do you see any parallel happening? Is there any parallel between these two elections?
Uh, well, there is not actually, because
Hmm,
2011 was 34 years of incumbency,
hmm,
burden heavily on the
hmm,
CPIM party. And
hmm,
Shingur, Nondegram, all this anti-farmer, it was well sold by Mamata Banerjee as an anti-farmer policy. Uh, and Bengal being a majorly farmers state, farmers just believed Mamata Banerjee, and 2011 was a different election. What happened over the 15 years was the vice-like grip of the lumpens of the Muslim society together with lumpens of the some kind of Hindu society, but always the leadership has come from the Muslim society in lumpenization of the society. And secondly, you see, corruption has been going on. I mean, the pilfering of government money and a contractor politician nexus, all this is part of the course, but the people accept it as it's going to happen anyway. But this time you see the Trinamool lumpens and Trinamool corrupt leaders, they have been snatching money from the poorest of the poor. You see, the all government schemes, central government schemes, people had to pay the TMC leaders, which they are entitled to, the full amount they were entitled to, like the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. 1 lakh rupees is coming and 25,000 rupees is going to the TMC leader. And usually these lumpens are mostly coming from Muslim community. Even Hindus within the TMC party would often complain that party ta chole gache Muslimanদের হাতে. So this has been a very, very significant thing to do when people are feeling oppressed. All supporters of Mamata Banerjee, they are feeling oppressed from Didir Bhais. Didir Bhai all over Bengal is creating havoc. They have been snatching money from the poorest of the poor. So this kind of corruption is different from the corruption we usually see. You see this 26,000 teachers job. All these people, almost I would say 20,000 or 21,000 came from very poor family. They had a dream. A farmer sending his child to the school, then to the university, then doing B.Ed, cracking the SSC exam, getting a job, suddenly loses his job after 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. I mean, they are married, they're settled now, they have lost their jobs. On top of it, almost half the people are paid 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs by selling away their land, by selling away their jewelry, by selling away their family treasure. This is a terrible thing to happen. And next came the rape and murder. You see, no government can actually stop rape. Rapes do happen all over the world. That's not the point. The point is the chief minister actively protecting the rape criminals, rapists, and then covering up the murder and rewarding the Sandeep Ghosh like character with another assignment as a principle of this is non-challenge, this is brazening it out. This is a challenge to the people who are disgusted with rape, who are disgusted with corruption. This chief minister stands in the middle of the road and says, हमने कर दिया, कर लो जो करना है. That's the kind of attitude she's having. I mean, you can't imagine after rape and murder of the Arjikor victim, this Sandeep Ghosh again getting a prize posting. This was a tight slap on the citizens of Bengal. So this time the election was not so much. You see, it was
I think Debu the fleeced. So let me. Yeah, Bijitda. Bijitda, can you hear me? Let me connect with.
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. So let me connect with Debuda. I think he might have lost his connection. So continuing where we left, where Debuda was about to say, this
Right. I mean, if
lumpenization.
you exactly the lampoonization and the I would say uh, bastardization of politics of Bengal politics. I mean, one obviously one famous, well-known rape incident was the Arjikor rape incident. But in order to show the brutality of what actually happened during this TMC era, I would actually try to bring another example, which was the Haskhali rape incident. So in Haskhali rape incident, you see, like you call, okay, Bengal intellectual, Kolkata intellectual, and Babu Somaj and all these things. All these people, right? Like people like poets, great poets like Joy Goswami. He's saying this guy Bhaipo is very democratic, and he want to see him as some whatever chief minister or something like that, right? I mean, it was recently published in Anandabazar Putrika, which is nevertheless another like scoundrel newspaper, so to say the least. Now, in the Haskhali rape incident, which was not covered by these choti chata medias, um, you see, there is this woman. I think she was a tribal woman, so she was raped, and then instead of giving her family justice and her justice, I think she was brought like a swine. Like she was, so there was this bamboo danda. उनको फिर सुअर की तरह लटकाया गया, एक हाथ और पैर बांध के एक बांस के बैम्बू के डंडे पे पुलिस वालों ने लटकाया शायद सुअर की तरह, और घर से 35 मीटर थोड़ा दूर ले जाके आई थिंक जिंदा जलाया गया, जितना मैंने सुना है. डोंट कोट मी ऑन दिस, बट सेड कि उन्हें जिंदा जलाया गया. दिस इज द हासखाली रेप इंसिडेंट. जिन पे ये जो आप बोलते हो परमब्रत चट्टोपाध्याय, बात्तो भुसु, जॉय गोस्वामी, श्रीजातो, all these poets and great people, right? Who claim like immortality in the arena of Bengali literature and culture and intellectualism. उनके मुंह से एक शब्द नहीं निकला. इतना ब्रूटल इंसिडेंट आज के दुनिया में शायद कहीं होता हो. हासखाली रेप इंसिडेंट. देन आपको पता होगा जब 2021 जो पोस्ट पोल वायलेंस हुआ, वहां पे फिर सुनाई नहीं दे रहा है, आप म्यूट हो. So I am continuing anyway. So in the other incident in 2021 post poll violence incident, एक्चुअली हिंदुओं को एक्सोडस मतलब मार के भगाया गया सारे गांव से. उनको आसाम जाके रहना पड़ा कुछ दिन. उनको 3 ऑप्शन दिया गया कि या तो टीएमसी ज्वाइन करो, या अपने बीवियों को यहाँ पे छोड़ के, जितने सारे मर्द हैं सारे गांव छोड़ के चले जाओ, या हमें 10 से 40 हजार तक कुछ वट एवर जजिया दो, राइट. फिर एक कहानी में एक जगह बोला गया, एज रिपोर्टेड बाय द मैगजीन ऑब्जर्वर आई गेस, कि माँ काली तेरी भगवान जैसे, जितनी जैसे लाइक योर goddess Ma Kali is naked and I am also going to strip you nude and then do things to you. ये लड़कियों को लिटरली बोला गया. आई थिंक फिर और कुछ भी एरिया कहीं पे हुआ था जहां पे बेटियों को, माँ बेटियों को न्यूड पैरेड करवाया गया. न्यूड पैरेड करवाया गया. ये सब जो इंसिडेंट है, ये सब जब हो रहा था, तो परमब्रतो चट्टोपाध्याय जैसा बंदा वो फेसबुक या ये सब सोशल मीडिया पे लिख रहा था कि खेला हो गया और बदला ले लिया, अब बदला और भारी करना पड़ेगा. इस तरह का कुछ कमेंट आ रहा था परमब्रतो से. द पॉइंट इज, ये जो आपको और एक चीज बता दूं, आपको शायद पता नहीं होगा, कैलकाटा के जितने भी आजकल जो कल्चरल क्लब जो बोलते हैं, जहाँ पे सारे कल्चरल लोग बैठे रहते हैं और पता नहीं कौन कौन जाता है, चंद्रिल या फिर आनंद प्रकाशन, ये सब जो कल्चरल जो लोग अपने आप को क्लेम करते हैं, वो पता है कैसे चलता है. वो लोगों से पैसा लेता है और ब्लैक मनी को व्हाइट करता है. आई हैव प्रूफ फॉर दिस. मैं फालतू बातें नहीं कर रहा यहाँ पे. आई हैव प्रूफ फॉर द फैक्ट कि ये जो कैलकाटा कल्चरल क्लब जैसे क्लब्स हैं, ये ब्लैक मनी को व्हाइट मनी करता है. क्योंकि जो वहां पे डोनेशन आता है वो बेसिकली ब्लैक मनी वाला डोनेशन होता है, जिसको सफेद किया जाता है. ठीक है. अगर कहीं कहीं पे जीएसटी फांकी देवा, इफ यू वांट टू स्किप जीएसटी, इफ यू वांट टू बाहर से कुछ पैसा लाया उसको सफेद करना है तो कैलकाटा कल्चरल क्लब में डोनेट कर दो, वो थोड़ा बहुत पैसा काट के बाकी पैसा आपको लौटा देगा। कैलकाटा जो कल्चरल कैपिटल बोला जाता है, वहां के क्लब इस तरह का गंदगी करता है, ठीक है। तो ये लोग जो अपने आप को इंटेलेक्चुअल बोलते हैं, ये कोई भी रैंडम आम आदमी ले लो जो एक रिक्शा चलाता है, एक फार्मर है, उनसे मतलब उनके बराबर भी नहीं हो सकता, और ये लोग खुद को इंटेलेक्चुअल और लीडर ऑफ द सोसाइटी बोलते हैं कैलकाटा के। ये जो लैम्पुनाइजेशन ऑफ पॉलिटिक्स हुआ है, लैम्पुनाइजेशन ऑफ एक एक सोशल कॉन्शियंस जो बंगाल में हुआ है, ये इसका घातक परिणाम हमें देखने को मिलता है, क्योंकि यहाँ पे फिर सारे जो सिस्टम्स थे, सारे ऑथोरिटीज थे, सारे जो लॉ एंड ऑर्डर था, सारा बर्बाद हो गया एक 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 स्टेट में। आई थिंक एक नंबर है 60,000 जो इंडस्ट्रीज थे वो बंद हो गया। ममता आने के बाद कुछ 6,000 जो बाहर के कंपनीज थे उन्हें छोड़ के जाना पड़ा। उसके बाद भी look, we have failed as Bengali, we are doomed, we are still roaming around in the name of Tagore, Subhas, but in present time no one is there, only hooligans. नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है। सी कोई भी एक अच्छा अगर डेवलप्ड सोसाइटी ले लो, वहां पे ऐसे बड़े लोग तो होते ही हैं। उसके बाद भी जो सोसाइटी को चलाता है वो आम आदमी रहता है, राइट। उनका इंटेलेक्चुअल होता है, जो इंटेलेक्चुअल ऐसे टैगोर और सुभाष की तरह फेमस नहीं होता। एक दो बंदे से एक सिविलाइजेशन या एक सोसाइटी खड़ा नहीं होता, और जरूरी नहीं है कि सबको इनके तरह फेमस होना पड़ेगा। पास तो लेकिन आपको एक चीज जो बंगाल में देखने को मिलेगा वो ये है कि पहले एक टीचर हो जाए, मास्टर हो जाए, उनका थोड़ा बहुत इज्जत होता था। लेकिन टीएमसी के जमाने में जो हुआ, टीचर्स आर द मतलब आर कंसिडर्ड द मोस्ट बफून्स एंड द मोस्ट स्टूपिड क्रीचर इन बंगाली सोसाइटी। आज के जमाने में उनको सबसे ज्यादा स्टूपिड सोचा जाता है। और कोई अगर टीएमसी का दादा है, उसका आप देखोगे बड़ा सा घर है, 4-5 गाड़ी है, गांव में इवन कोई भी गांव में चला जाओ ये आपको देखने को मिलेगा। साइनिंग वाज रिप्रेजेंट बंगाली भद्रलोक मोर देन टैगोर एंड नेताजी। हाँ, ऑब्वियसली इसमें तो कोई मतलब देयर इज नो डाउट अबाउट इट, राइट। दीज पीपल, दीज आर द मोस्ट करप्ट पीपल जो खुद को भद्रलोक बताते हैं। और ये जो बास्टर्डाइजेशन ऑफ भद्रलोकगिरी हो गया है, ठीक है, इससे अच्छा तो शूद्रलोक ही है। मैं अपने आप को भद्रलोक कहने से अच्छा है आई विल कॉल माई सेल्फ शूद्रलोक। दैट इज अ मच मोर रिस्पेक्टेबल टाइटल देन द भद्रलोक ऑफ कोलकाता। तो ये एक जैसे मल्टी डिमेंशनल एक क्राइसिस है जिससे बंगाल जूझ रहा है। नाउ ऑब्वियसली अगर कोई सोसाइटी है वो तो इंसान बनाता है, राइट, वो आम आदमी बनाता है, उससे पॉलिटिक्स भी बनता है। सो ऑब्वियसली अगर बीजेपी आ रहा है बाय डिफॉल्ट आके बहुत कुछ चेंज कर देगा, ऐसा तो नहीं हो सकता। बट वी होप कि थोड़ा सेंटर से अगर कुछ पैसा मिलेगा, थोड़ा कोई 3-4 और जो प्रकल्प थे, प्रोजेक्ट्स थे, वो अगर खुल गया तो लोगों को जॉब मिलेगा, तो थोड़ा बहुत सेल्फ एस्टीम आएगा। सेल्फ एस्टीम आएगा तो फिर गुंडाराज खत्म होगा, थोड़ा बॉर्डर सिक्योर होगा। जितने जो साउथ 24 परगना हो गया या फिर इन जनरल कोलकाता हो गया, वहाँ पे जो वहावाइजेशन हो रहा है, जो आस्ट्राफाइजेशन हो रहा है, कि आपको 10 साल पहले बुरखा नहीं दिखता था, आज आप साइंस सेंटर में चले जाओ, अलीपुर अलीपुर जू में चले जाओ, बुरखा ही बुरखा दिखता है आपको। ये बंद होगा। पाकिस्तान जैसे कुछ दिन पहले एक आया था कि हम लोग कोलकाता को अटैक करेंगे, बट दे एक्चुअली मेंट कि हम लोग बांग्लादेश साइड से अटैक करेंगे। तो ये सब शायद बंद होगा। सो वी हैव, हाँ, ऑल वी कैन डू इज लाइक वी कैन होप बिग राइट नाउ। और अभी भी रिजल्ट ऐसे आउट नहीं हुआ है। ये हो ही सकता है कि 4 तारीख को रिजल्ट कुछ अलग दिखा दे, क्योंकि ज्यादा छप्पा वोट पड़ जाए। मैं एक ही चीज बोल रहा हूँ कि जैसे ये एग्जिट पोल्स है, इसमें एक बड़ा एजम्पशन ये है कि वी आर एज्यूमिंग कि इन्होंने जो सर्वे किया है उनमें कोई छप्पा वोटर नहीं था। क्योंकि छप्पा वोटर बाहर निकलेगा, वो आके बोले हम लोग एज्यूम करेंगे उसने एक वोट डाला है, बट वो 4, 5, 10, 15 कुछ भी नंबर ऑफ वोट डाल सकता है। तो छप्पा वोटिंग नहीं हुआ है, मैं फिर से बोल रहा हूँ, क्योंकि ये नंबर्स बहुत एबनॉर्मल है। अदरवाइज छप्पा वोटिंग नहीं हुआ है तो आई थिंक देयर इज अ बिग चांस कि टीएमसी का खेला शेष हो गया है. अम, और एक एस्पेक्ट मैं यहाँ पे बोलना चाहता हूँ कि अगर मान लीजिए ठीक है, अगर इस तरह का हिंदुत्व का तो राइज बहुत दिनों से हो रहा है बंगाल में, एंड वी सी ए ग्रेट फ्यूचर ऑफ हिंदुत्व इन बंगाल एक्चुअली. क्योंकि आप जिस तरह से आप यूपी में देखोगे फॉर एग्जांपल, वहां पे जिस हिसाब से कास्ट पॉलिटिक्स खेला जाता है, बंगाल में कास्ट पॉलिटिक्स उतना ब्रूटल, उतना मतलब अ, उस लेवल का कास्ट पॉलिटिक्स नहीं है जितना यूपी में है. सो देयर इज अ बिग चांस कि जैसे अब तक सोचा जाता था कि गुजरात इज द सेंटर ऑफ हिंदुत्व, अगर बंगाल आ जाए तो देयर इज अ चांस कि गुजरात के को छोड़ के शायद बंगाल बिकम द न्यू कैपिटल ऑफ हिंदुत्व. ये एक चांस है जो जो हम लोग यहाँ से वी कैन एक्चुअली लीड and we can make Bengal the new epicenter of Hindutva along with Gujarat, and we can even go ahead in terms of um, creating new ideas and new narratives along Hindutva line.
Yeah, thank you, Bijeet da. So, Devuda is back, so we'll quickly take him. But I have few things to understand from him. For the audience itself, do subscribe our channel. We have 40 people watching 30 people. So subscribe and share our content as well. And do contribute if you can to the channel. It helps us. So Devuda, you have covered in your book the original lynch mob, where you have seen how systematically, okay, in a scientific way, CPM would beat up people. So, do you think that scientific approach that CPM took to beating up people was disintegrated into lumpen from TMC doing violence on the streets every day, and how this happened?
Now, the difference between the violence of the CPIM and the TMC over the last at least 7 8 years has been, apart from the lumpens, mostly from the Islamic society, the Muslim society, police has taken a very active interest in lumpenization along with the lumpens. So anywhere where some kind of violence has happened, police has always been on the side of the TMC lumpens. So it is very difficult for a general public or a normal citizen to get any justice from a government where the administration is on the side of the lumpen. And this has been going on for the last 7 8 10 years maybe. Uh, and this has become a terrible thing in the society of Bengal. So this is a marked difference from the CPIM violence that we have seen. CPIM violence and all my writings, incidents of the CPIM violence, has been the violence by the CPIM cadres. Here, there were no cadres as such. Here, everything has been organized. You see, at this moment, Malda, Kaliachok, or for that matter, the entire NH 34 after Farakka can be put to a standstill at the beck of a just from a call by the TMC leaders. And I presume that the chief minister also is actively in league with these people. She has her own person everywhere where a simple phone call will they will organize 10,000, 15,000, one up to 1 lakh people on the national highway. You have seen how they have chased the high court judges also. And the terrible call from the high court judge, he saved me, look after my children. I mean, this is almost Afghanistan, if not more. So this terrible violence is unmatchable. I would say whatever CPM did, this lady had done into 5x. The kind of violence she has done on, you see, last election, post-poll violence, cadres after cadres of the BJP party has been killed and hanged on the trees of the villages. Can you even imagine this kind of violence and this kind of mentality? Who, what kind of mentality some person has, whether it be politics or for some personal gain? So this kind of violence has been going on for too long, and at times this kind of violence has come back to the TMC cadre itself, and it has become a Hindu Muslim, yeah, also, because There's a lot of money involved in this violence, and people would like to take hold of the power so that they can grab the money part of it. A lot of money is floating around to be looted. And here, I would say, you have lumpens all over Bengal. Lumpens like Shahjahan, Jahangir, Humayun Kabir. Every district has a Muslim leader who is a lumpen and who is oppressing the society, who has backing from the police, and it's a terrible society to live in. If you ask me, I would say I would not like to die in Mamata's Bengal. This has to end. This has to end not for BJP. This has to end for a healthy society. So that's one point. And another, I would like to take an alternative call on the Lokhi Bhandar thing. I don't think Lokhi Bhandar has bought votes for the TMC that much. Like people would say that the rural ladies have been sold out on Lokhi Bhandar. Not really. Because you say last election, TMC got 2.75 crores of vote and BJP got 2.33 crores of vote. I cannot imagine that the BJP has got no vote from Lokhi Bhandar beneficiaries out of those 2.33 crores vote. Of course, people think that it is a good thing to happen in their life and they, as a gratitude, vote for the TMC. But not really, not the entire female crowd would go and join TMC just because they are giving him. Because at the end of the day, it is not TMC which is giving the money, it's a government scheme and everybody is getting the money. So these are the things. This violence kind of thing has to end in Bengal society. Is as per exit poll, if BJP comes to power, BJP has to do serious back of his job to control this violence, to chuck out any criminal that the party might have, and they have to bring it a reconciliation in the society, reconciliation between lumpens, administrative action against the lumpens, reconciliation between the peaceful section of Muslim society, and telling them that the Muslim deserve a better life than they have got under Mamata Banerjee. You go to a Muslim slum in Calcutta, I will not advise you to go to villages or rural areas. You go to a Muslim slum in Calcutta, pigs are dying there. Pigs won't survive one day. And they are being kept there under extremely unhygienic condition in a very, very poor state and never told by the government to organize themselves to have a good life, to put up business or to do anything. Now, this Muslim community has a substantial part of the Muslim community, I presume, would like to work hard and earn their living and live peacefully. So, this section of the society has to be demerged from the lumpen part of the society and brought into mainstream. So, this is a very serious job that the BJP needs to do, just like the reconciliation commission that Nelson Mandela had done in South Africa. That kind of thing is needed at this hour in the Bengal politics also.
I'll take this point and come back to Bijidda. Bijidda, he just mentioned, Devuda just mentioned that there is a scope, a chance of reconciliation between the peaceful community and the overarching Hindu community that includes Jains, Buddhists, and others. Everybody. Do you think because you have written a book called Hindu Messiah and Hindu Genocides, of which 80% or 90% is done by the Islamic or Islamist invaders, correct? Who were inspired by the book uh, by which they did all these things. So, and also one more thing, Devuda mentioned that uh, the power which is held by the Ashrafs in West Bengal, okay,
Right.
it has increased quite dramatically over the last 10 years, where they, up the top of a hat, they can block the national highway or even the train lines. So, considering all these things, where and also I like to also take the opinion of Devuda as well. We did a last live stream yesterday night itself with the CSK, where CSK has gave us a news, kind of a news. that Amit Shah has told all the businessmen in Bhawanipur is that Bengal is sitting on a volcano. The issues are beyond politics and beyond general politics. It is about national security. So don't think that this election is only about elections. This is about
Mhm.
future of India rather than anything else.
Right.
Considering everything which has happened, how do you see the peaceful community and how do we manage them?
Right. So yeah, so I think when we talk about Ashraf, we are actually proceeding in the right direction, in my opinion. You see, only it is the so if you really want to talk like us and them, in India there exist two community, Hindu and Ashraf, right? And Ashrafs are only 5%. And the Pasmanda community, they have gone through double genocide. So you see, for Hindus, our institutions, our ecosystem, our education, administration, everything got like pretty much destroyed at the hand of these invaders, Ashrafi invaders. But at least we could retain some amount of our identity. But for Pashmandas, they lost pretty much, like they lost their institutions just like us so-called Hindus did, and they also lost their identity of Hindu, right? Of the Desi native people with native beliefs. Obviously, I could again go deeper into this Abrahamic historiocentricity and historiocentric morality, but I'm not going that far. I'm saying that okay, Pasmandas have gone through double genocide. So Hindus, us, we have a greater responsibility to bring them back, to at least reverse the genocide that they have gone through and we have gone through. And uh, and uh, if you ask me, like, okay, like maybe Islam, like they used to be, like they believe in Islam, and they, it is their whatever most coveted sort of thing that they have got to get rid of casteism and all these things again, right? But it is the British writers who are writing actually in 1850s or so, that and we have discussed it multiple times in our viewers, that Muslim communities in 1850s used to have their own temples. The Memon community, they used to worship Tridev, and Memon community, the same community that, like the guy, what's his name, the Memon who was behind the, who conspired the Mumbai blast in 1993.
Tiger Memon.
Uh,
Oh, oh, Tiger Memon.
Tiger Memon.
right. Tiger Memon. So this Memon community used to be a vegetarian community. Okay. So you see, the Muslim community used to have their own temple. They used to do Ganga
Uh,
Snan. They used
Bijitda,
to, uh-huh,
we have a very special guest with us. So please
Pinakida, yes.
welcome Pinakida. Pinakida.
Namaskar, Pinakida.
নমস্কার নমস্কার দেবাদা
So
নমস্কার আপনার আলাপ
yeah,
হয়নি
so
আগে
we're doing it in English and Hindi. So
ও ওকে ওকে
Bengali we will do on our normal Sunday 9 p.m. show
ওকে
that we do. Yeah.
Yes, I'm
So
just I'm just quickly keeping my point. So I'll take
uh,
just 2 minutes. So we have a greater responsibility to bring them back. Now, how to do it? You
বিজিত
see, in
ওয়ান
India,
সেকেন্ড বিজিত just the context, if you can just set me up on the context, ki
sure.
what were we
So,
discussing
so Bhupenda was asking us, ki Amit Shah did, I think, a press conference where he is saying that the election, like for West Bengal, it is
not
not
press
only a
conference, a closed door meeting, not a press
closed
conference.
door meeting. Okay, so it is not only the like political issue; it is a national security issue. Winning this election. So
So
on that
Bengal is
context, Bhupendra
sitting on
was
a
asking
volcano.
volcano, right? He was asking, like, is it possible to bring the Pasmanda community from the clutch of the Ashraf and bring it back to the Hindu fold? At least that is the narrative along which we are discussing this.
okay
So you see, I said multiple times that in India post independence, or even right from I think 1800s or so, every sort of social schemes that the authority, the government distributes or adopts, they have an identity, and the identity of the whole nation somehow, uh, right, they align along those, along the identity of these schemes. So if you run social schemes which are along the whatever these jati varna caste, these lines, Indians will automatically, by large, they will assume these sort of identities. But if you give the identity of genocide reversal to these schemes, कि see हिंदुओं का genocide, like casteist literature इतना है, मतलब we don't have any historical reference before this person in Maharashtra.
1800s,
हाँ,
the
before
British
1800 we
missionary.
don't have any literature which talks about this sort of whatever casteist operation and equity and all these things. But we do have references coming from the Muslim historians that talk about the Hindu genocide. I mean, genocide was not a word before it, like it was a word. It was a crime without a word before 1946, given by Raphael Lemkin, I guess. So Hindu genocide, like these Muslim contemporary historians like Al-Udbi, Firista, Al-Biruni, Barani, they are already talking about with so much pride that we have killed these many Hindus, right? Taimur Long in his autobiography, Babar in his autobiography, they are writing कि काफिरों को मार के इतना खड़ा किया, 2 लाख लोगों को मार दिया, 4 लाख लोगों को मार दिया. They are writing in their own words, right? Now, so it means कि Hindu genocide is a fact. Okay, it has happened historically, and we have record for it. So all the schemes that you are distributing gi- give the identity of genocide reversal. अगर तुम बोलोगे ये genocide reverse करने के लिए ये scheme distribute कर रहे हैं, obviously the Pasmanda Muslims they automatically align with us, right? ये जो मुस्लिम को मुस्लिम बनाया गया है इंडिया में, ये इसके पीछे एक लंबा हिस्ट्री है. जैसे 1937 या 38 का आई थिंक मुस्लिम पर्सनल लॉ तब क्रिएट किया गया था, जबकि केरल का जैसे मुस्लिम थे वो एक मैट्रिलिनियर सोसाइटी था उनका. काफी जगह ऐसे शरिया चलता नहीं था. इन 1937-38 the whole Muslim society became like what shariatification, if there exists a word like that. सो ये उनको वो जो अरबी आइडेंटिटी है वहां से निकाल के ये जेनोसाइड रिवर्सल या फिर जेनोसाइड हुआ इनका ये आइडेंटिटी में था. इवन हिंदुओं में जैसे काफी सारा क्राफ्ट हो गया जो खो गया है, काफी सारा क्राफ्ट है, वो रिवाइव करो. काफी सारे मंदिर है जो जैसे विजय मंडल टेम्पल है, उसके पीछे तो कोई डिस्प्यूट नहीं है, काशी और मथुरा जैसा. तो और वो खजुराहो से भी बड़ा मंदिर था लास्ट टाइम जो जिसको औरंगजेब ने डिस्ट्रॉय किया था. उस मंदिर को रिवाइव करो. तो अगर तुम स्कीम को जेनोसाइड रिवर्सल वाला आइडेंटिटी दोगे तो इंडिया का ओवरऑल स्कीमा में ये चीज घुस जाएगा, इंडियन कॉन्शियसनेस जो है उसमें ये घुस जाएगा कि हमारे जेनोसाइड हुआ था, पासवानदाओं का भी हुआ था, हिंदुओं का भी हुआ था. एंड एज हिंदूज वी हैव दिस ग्रेट रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, राइट, to show sympathy and empathy to these people and bring them back to our own fold, because manifestly we are a superior civilization, we with a superior belief, we have our like much superior philosophy than any Abrahamic cult or doctrine. So if we genuinely believe we are superior civilization, we have to bring them back to our fold, and then probably expand our own belief beyond the border of Hindustan.
Yeah, thank you, Bijitda, for this long explanation. So, Pinakida, your first impressions of the second phase of polling and your observations, what happened?
So second phase of polling um, essentially was the repetition of first phase. And if you remember that I said once we can set the tone for the phase one, phase two will follow that pattern. And exactly to that line, the percentage of voting 90 plus percentage plus plus your law and order situation in situation that was managed very well, except for few stray incidents. I would say nothing in comparison to what we are used to seeing in Bengal. So it's in the same line. And one thing that happened different from the last election is that last election was what happened in 7 phases, right? So that momentum of BJP was lost in middle. So we did well in the North Bengal, and then we lost the momentum as we moved south. This time, that momentum was carried forward, and with the first four phase, Mamta Banerjee kind of going into her own shell, you know, has actually made that communication loud and clear that TMC is not winning. So this is um, this is a very kind of a straightforward equation. If you want to see this, whenever this large scale voting happens, it's for a change. In 2011, I think the percentage was 83% polling. So this time it is 90 plus. So that is a huge shift, you know, and people made sure that that shift happens, and we'll see it on the 4th. But my assumptions, and I'm still sticking to the numbers that I predicted last week, is that BJP will end up somewhere with 156 seats and Trinamool with 132 seats, and the rest goes to INC and ISF and the others. So, so this is my very short, I would say, and then we can go in details. But I think you have brought up a very interesting topic on the conversion and bringing the Pasmanda class into our Pasmanda class into our fold, because there is already an effort that is being going on, um, Bhupen, you must be knowing our Rahul Diwan and his Sangam talks.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
they are raising 1,000 crore fund to make this conversion a reality, because the and Pasmanda class is one of the primary areas where they are basically marginalized Hindus being converted into Muslims. Okay, so and it would be mm, kind of, I won't say a straightforward thing, but we also have to remember, beside the atrocities and the genocides, Muslims in Bengal, particularly, actually progressed or conversion happened with the means of the Peer and the Ghazis. There was a huge influx of Peer and Ghazi in Bengal, and the movement of this Sufi, or your that kind of a movement that happened. So it was not all genocide, I would say, but it was always an economically disadvantageous position that Muslims were in, and then the, especially from a class-based society, and Brahmins and the Kshatriyas and the Vaishyas, all these people having their own say into the matters of governance, operations, and everything, the lower strata slowly moved away from it, because they had nothing more to offer to these to this lower class people. Although we talk about being, there is nothing called class in our Vedas and Puranas, but in reality, that there was a phase of few hundred years where that kind of reigned a lot. And historically, if you see, Islam came to India through Arab trade, coastal contact, and that's where Kerala, Bengal are the main settlements, before they actually expanded to the other parts of the country. And then during the Sultanate period of 13th century, the Sufi saints, Pir, the the Delta region, actually, especially if you see the Sundarban areas, and those kind of Sundarban area, so that those areas actually got first came into contact with the Muslims before even Akbar sent his army, and all that happened. In the rural Bengal, Islam actually prospered through their shrine culture, the masjid and the equality in that masjid. That was a big thing, because a lot of these people were not even allowed into the temples. So getting closer to God, an opportunity to get closer to God is always a lucrative thing besides everything. Then because they are Muslims by faith, and that faith has evolved. When they first became Muslims, they were not even aware ki what actually means to be a Muslim, you know, because at that time, this kind of narrative, like the Christians who are converting in the Northeast, in the name of food and giving food and education and all of that stuff, for them, getting 100 rupees or 1,000 rupees is enough to go to the church. Okay, they were looking at going to the church as a criteria to get that economic benefit. Similarly, for Muslims also, at one point, that going to, I'll give you this much, you come to the masjid on every Friday. That that practice over the time evolved into a faith, because they weren't like a real understand. There was no real understanding of what Islam meant, or and that's partly due to us only, because we did not teach them enough about what Hindu Dharma meant. So, and that gap was filled in their imagination, because we are a storytelling community, right? In many beings, storytelling beings. So they had stories, or better stories, that Allah is taking care of you. There are a lot of hur waiting for you and all of that. Then, if you come back to the colonial era, there is this. They were again left out from that social structure of, because that time the Bhadralok class was in dominance, and that also cornered them after being converted into Islam and not getting the bureaucratic control. That also alienated and created that clusterization of these populations into East Pakistan, or East Bengal, or your Bangladesh now. Okay, and these adjoining areas you see are all Bangladesh adjoining areas. It's just the line that has been drawn different. And
Pinakida,
yeah,
so coming back to our discussion on election results. So you are a BJP person. You have been associated with BJP for almost 2 decades. So and you also were actively campaigning for BJP on behalf of BJP. So two questions which people might not ask because they don't know. One is the the business outside Kolkata is controlled by the ashrafs or the peaceful people.
yeah,
Large part of agriculture, large part of fisheries,
yeah,
a lot of bulk wholesale businesses. So the rural in the rural Bengal, which is the heartland. Okay, the Kolkata is a city, but the all population, other things live in rural Bengal. The rural Bengal is now totally dominated by the peaceful community in terms of business, in terms of economy, and that also is a threat because Amit Shah has mentioned that Bengal is sitting on a volcano. Okay, that cash flow which these radicals have, okay, that can do a lot of damage to India overall. So,
yes,
what do you think the central government and the government which probably will be formed with the BJP at the help, how do you tackle this? Because it's a very complicated issue.
yes, yes, absolutely. See, you're right. We always talk about Bengalis and Bhadralok, but Bhadralok is only 3% of Bengal's population. Means I'm not saying the rest is Abhadra, but in terms of the nomenclature, okay, in terms of nomenclature, that middle class, educated, and all these coffee house going people are only 3% of the population centered in the Kolkata, centered around Kolkata. This Ashraf you mentioned, then there is this Ashraf class as well, who are the artisans and the converts and the peasants group. So when we talk about business, the agrarian, the agriculture-based communities also also with them. Okay, we have to keep that as well in mind. The shrubs were at the high class or in the higher strata in terms of business. If you go to today, if you go to our Strand Road, you will see 90%, 90 or 100% maybe, all the business tools market is all governed by or in total control of the Gujarati Musalman. Okay, they are in Gujarati Musalman. Labor class coming as Bihari Musalman, okay, or UP Musalman, Eastern UP Musalman. So there are a lot of dynamics, and as you move further towards Bangladesh to the east, you will find this peasants class. So the business class is basically in that whole Bora Bazar and Strand Road area, and we are losing dominance on most of these businesses, even for furniture to mattress to every other business, which is basically a craftsman business. So we have lost control of that whole market that belong to the craftsman, and that is an area where one thing is funding, but when we promise when BJP is promising employment, and if there is an entry bar into these business areas, because that entry bar is being set up, so that will be a challenge. It is not easy for a Hindu guy to walk into Stand Road and start selling tools and machineries over there. Okay, they will not be able to survive. So we will have to create some kind of a alternative economic system, like the MSMEs that has is, I think, primarily out of your control of the Muslim class. Okay, and if we enforce that kind of an environment, where if you see the Howrah Belt is not a Muslim dominated area. It is dominated by the Bengalis who run the companies, and the workers are all Bihari Hindus. So, and that's where the BJP wins that will win that seat also. Okay. Um, so like that, it is first to create that opportunity with a lower the entry resistance has to be removed, and once that entry resistance has to be removed, because these people actually not only supply goods to Bengal but to the entire northeast. Okay, their market is entire northeast, the whole of Barawazar, Stand Road, and every other place. So it's not going to be easy in terms of creating a business friendly environment for the Bengalis, and especially I really doubt how many Bengalis are willing to even put in that kind of an effort, and also with the money power that is not there with the Bengali youth today. Okay, all these loans and schemes like that. Mamta also had a loan scheme for quite a long time, but it did not work, because loans only work when you have a business model in place and then you are able to sell your product. But those kind of things will not help, except we can actually target for the Hindus a more Silicon Valley kind of a startup ecosystem, where intellectual capacity is much more needed, and entrepreneurial capacity is needed than making inroads into these areas. Because you'll also have to understand these trades that they're in are getting automated at a very fast pace. So the only way to beat it is through automation. You need lesser number of people, whether Muslims or Hindus, and then you make that inroad into it. So it's you have to make it a technology-driven initiative to break into this ecosystem and create that employment opportunity as I think will be working in the future.
Uh,
Yeah,
uh, Thank you, Pragata. I'll keep you waiting for a few minutes. This is very interesting. Probably we're at the end of the session for our program. So, Debuda, you are a chartered accountant by profession. Uh, so, your thoughts on how can BJP improve the entrepreneurial spirit of Bengal? And also this, as I mentioned, a large chunk of Bengal's economy, the rural economy specifically, and also a part of urban economy and northeast has been controlled by the peaceful community. How do you think, as a Bengali, we can solve this problem? Also with the take help of BJP and other political and other entities. Yeah.
Now, firstly, like our respected two other guests, Bijita and
Hmm.
Pinakida, I am not a very hopeful of Aman Ki Asha, bringing them into the fold, dividing them into Pasmanda and all that doesn't help. They are a monolithic society. As far as any conflict with the Hindu community is concerned, they are one and they are united.
True.
So there's no point in discussing all this because they're interested in peace. They survive in disturbing circumstances. So that is one part. As regards Bengal's economy, you see, we have been an old economy. I mean, lathe machine and all that is gone now. Now we are into a new economy, and all development of Bengal has to be service sector oriented. Why do I say so? Because when you invest 100 crores in the service sector, you are generating lot of more jobs than investing 100 crores in the manufacturing sector. So we cannot afford a jobless growth. Our growth has to generate jobs. If you want to have jobs and economic progress, we need to have service sector, like a hospital, an educational college, or a hotel. These are sectors which generate huge amount of employment. An investment of 100 crores in a hospital would generate not less than 1600 employment or 2000 maybe. But when you are investing 100 crores in a manufacturing sector, with today's technological update and robotics and all coming in, you will not generate more than 50 jobs. That too, upper echelons will take away almost 15, 20 jobs. So at the lower end, you will end up having 30 jobs. Apart from that, Bengal is a very densely populated state. If you are having too many of large industries, this will create pollution problem, which in part of Durgapur we already have. It's a hugely polluted city at this point of time because of the steel intermediaries that had come in during the 2011 pre last days of Buddhadev Bhattacharya. All the polluting industry has come in. They have not generated any amount of job. Even if they have generated a job, they are all on contract basis. There's no permanent job in the manufacturing sector. Compared to that, Durgapur had good hospitals of late, five-star hospital, corporate hospitals. They have generated huge amount of employment. Lot of people from all over the Bengal has moved into Durgapur to work in these hospitals, as a non-medical staff. So any employment in Bengal has to be service oriented because it will generate jobs. Jobless growth in Bengal is a strict no-no. And secondly, this particular community occupying a lot of, I don't know what you call it, gray job or whatever. I mean, you call an AC
In
Mistri, he,
informal
uh,
sector.
informal sector. You call an AC technician, he is here. You call a geyser technician, he is here. All the street shops, Central Calcutta hawker business has totally gone away. And you just can't, if you are trapped in Central Calcutta and a riot starts, you are a lame duck. You are just killed there. Since
Yes.
things have come to that, so this is a situation which we have to handle in an administrative way. I mean, bringing in Pasmindas and all into the mainstream society, making them Hindus again, is all futile talks. It will never happen. We will only be spending money. We will only be spending energy and throwing good money against bad money. That is, I think, is not an option. We have no business getting into their society. They have to reform themselves or perish. We should leave them to stew in their own juices. There is no point in trying to bring them and give them a good life to people who are not interested in a good life. They're not interested. They're interested in polygamy. They're interested in child marriage. They're interested in tatkal divorce. So you just can't draw this community into a healthy life, into a healthy society, or things which are acceptable all over the world. The world has failed. Germany has failed. Netherlands has failed. USA has failed. We are we are too small. We are too diverse a country to accommodate them into our good things. They are not interested in Ved. They are not interested in Upanishad. They are not interested in Gita. Why should you try even to draw them into all this? Let us forget about it. The only way you can handle this community is through administrative action. That has to be done. The TMC government has given them a free hand in doing whatever they like. They can stop the highway, they can stop a district, they can call a band, they can throw stones at the trains, and no action from the administration. This has to go. If the BJP forms a government, the BJP should absolutely strengthen the administrative and pull up people who are supporting these lumpens, that nothing doing. The society cannot run this way. One section of the society cannot run the society through violent means and stopping everything which is normal. This is one part I would like to. And the second part, what I said about this, we have to look at the service industry to have a gainful employment from the growth. We cannot have a growth which has no employment. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll
So
just I know we are running out of time, but just
no,
one
no.
point.
Continue, continue.
Actually, the mother of all this problem, we don't talk about it much, is that the passing of the Special Hindu Marriage Act in 1954. So that has created a population disbalanced growth, and with the BJP confirming, the Hindus are restricted to marrying to only one person, and the Muslims have been left with their Sharia laws to marry as many as they want. Okay, so that has created this disbalance, and with the introduction of the UCC, I think if that is being taken care of in the as similar laws for all citizens, there will be a check on their on the population growth, which is kind of, and over a period of time, because 70% growth rate will over a period of time will kind of overshadow that their 30% growth, you know not immediately, but 50 years maybe, or 100, I don't know how many years. But so that is one area we don't talk much, that we have been at a disadvantage in terms of population explosion, or
So,
they are,
Pinaketa, if I can
yeah.
come in, I mean, one person marrying five, having five wives, can produce as many children as 5% marrying five wives, having five wives. Where is the biology of it? One
No, the
person having five.
no, I
No,
get your
if
point.
if five females are married to five males, they will produce the same number of children. This cannot be. They are having multiple children. Number one, and one
Yes,
point, if you can agree, if you can put some light on it, I just like to know the population density as a whole is 35%, whatever. But
yeah.
when you are taking a slice of the population to 40 minus population, I mean that's 50%.
I
People
did not
below
get
40
your
years
point.
of age.
I did
You
not get
see,
your point.
as a population, as a total global population, Indian
Yeah.
population, we are having 35% of Muslim population. When you are taking a slice of the young population, say from 0 to 40 years, here the percentage is not 35%, it is more than 50%. So
Yes.
as we senior people die,
Yeah.
this population density, this popular demographic spread will be much more
Yes.
dangerous.
Yes.
This I want to know from
Absolutely.
you. Is it correct?
No, no, no. It means I'm totally in agreement, because totally in agreement with what you said, Debuda, because this is exactly the case. As the replacement ratio, as it is called, is much lower for Hindus as compared to the Muslims. So over the next 50 years, this demographic
So
shift
one more
is,
data
we are
here.
sitting at a time bomb basically.
So for Kolkata, as a city, this replacement ratio, or I think it is called TFR, total fertility ratio, it is
Hmm.
less than 1.1, which is rare in most developed I mean cities, by the way. Forget about Indian cities. It is less than 1 or 1.1 as per some survey that came out in Anandabazar Putrika. And Anandabazar Putrika actually raised this point that everyone is talking about everything, but actually no one is talking about this critical TFR that we see in Kolkata.
Yes. Valid point, Bijit.
Yeah, Brigada, you are saying something, and then we will go towards the
No,
end
no,
of the.
I just, I'll admit, I just stand corrected with what Debuda said. Okay,
Hmm.
because one person marrying four people and producing 20 children, and one person marrying one person and producing 20 children is kind of a biologically possible, but at the same time, this. Uh, it's always in practicality we have seen that every woman having 2 3 children to care for, not everyone is a Lalu Prasad Yadav in the country. So in that sense, in that sense, theoretically possible, but that has given them a lot of these, and the belief Allah is going to feed them. They don't care about the well-being or education, like the way we care for our children's education and spend huge amount of money on that, nourishment and everything. So that part of is hard to beat, and you're absolutely right that explosion, as the young replacement ratio will happen, we will be totally marginalized, and that's where it brings back to that discussion on the Pasmanda class and others, to bring them back into the fold, because that's where the balance of power can be still struck, you know because the things that they were promised when they converted has not been fulfilled at all, because those are the original Dalits of our society. So they are still at a disadvantage, and there are chances, and there is actually some work happening. I know it. I don't want to tell it on a TV, on this channel, but I know it for sure that there are certain things that is happening at the subaltern level, where that shift will happen. And a lot of our
Uh,
Maharaj and these ashrams and gurus have taken this up very seriously. Yeah.
we will take two questions which has come up, okay, and then we
So
will take the
yeah,
final
yeah.
final
So
comment.
Bhupenda, I had a couple of points to add here to this discussion. So one point is that obviously, matlab, if let's say if we consider okay less than 40 years of age, I think the Buddha is saying okay this is maybe it is 50-50. In that case, I think like we have to. It actually tells us that we have to either matlab, to balance the demography, we have to either bring more people from their fold into our fold. That's why I'm suggesting what I'm suggesting. Second point is, you see, even I mean, I am not as old as you guys, but what I have seen, at least in places like Bankura, being a Muslim, right, or being whatever Pasmanda, had a used to have a sense of guilt. I don't know where that guilt used to come from, but in the TMC era, what I've seen is like this weird bravado show that like we are the kingmaker and all these things. Now,
Yes.
what I'm suggesting is if we can say that okay, our whatever we believe, Hindus believe, this is superior belief, and we are not going to call Ramdhanu Ramdhenu, we are not going to call Ma Amma or পিসি খালা or স্নান করাকে গোসল বলবো না আমরা because we have superior civilization and belief and this is our native land. I want at least this much, that okay we have superior belief, you come to our fold, maybe that is optional, we are going to project our belief. If you want to come, you come. If you don't want to come, you maintain the law and order. At least that much is secure. But we are not. I don't want to keep ourselves all the time as like defensive. The second point here that which we have to think about in near future, which is that getting the Rangpur and other places back, जो उधर का जो बांग्लादेशी Hindu population, that population to basically bring them in places like along the border, West Bengal Bangladesh border at least, in some way by capturing some land. That can be one way, or having initiating a talk with the Bangladeshi government that hey, we need to bring
Bijitda,
that balance. So
Bijit,
maybe we can
Bijitda,
implement the 1950 Nehru Liaquat Pact and
uh,
exchange the population.
Bijitda,
Mhm.
sorry for interjection. Pinagdata has to leave for another podcast. So Pinagdata,
Acha, acha,
last
no.
question to you. Last question
Okay.
to you.
No.
First three policy decisions from the BJP government in Bengal that you want to see.
I'm too insignificant to answer that question, to be honest.
Or your wish,
No,
your
no, but
wish. What do you wish?
Oh, my wish. Uh, okay. I want the UCC to be the number one in this list. And this fencing thing and stopping this infiltration, because those two are my top priority agenda, and because that's where the Sanatan Dharma dynamics actually changes because of
Yes.
this. So that's my two priority items. And third is employment, obviously. And as Devuda rightly pointed out, on the service sector, I said about the automation, robotics, and getting into more of the high-end places, because where they will lack is because their madrasa education will not be able to support this kind of a high technology growth areas. They will not be able to participate in that because the madrasa education has crippled them in a way. Although their numbers have increased, their muscle power has increased, but their brain power still hasn't increased in that madrasa environment. So we'll have to take that off. And my biggest thing that I want to do, if I were in some capacity, is that I have to make it mandatory that every child, every Muslim child or a Hindu child, should study in a normal school till class 5, and after that they can go to a madrasa, or they can go into a Sanatan Vedic school or in a normal school. That depends upon their parents' choice. But the till class 5, because what happens is the early childhood indoctrination of these ideas actually makes them more different, or more what is hostile towards the Hindu population. So first 5 years, till class 5, not 5 years, till class 5, all education, they should come to the school, and then thereafter they can go and decide which way they want to go, and that will stop. That will create a ripple effect over time.
Piragada,
Thank you,
one small
Pinakita. You have
regarding UCC. Just a
Yeah,
minute. Piragada, one small
Mhm.
thing regarding UCC. One
yeah.
is it possible to have an UCC in a particular state, one, or it is a national, it is a concurrent list, state list, what I don't know. And secondly, when in Bengal we are seeking UCC, how do we reconcile the tribal population? How do we reconcile the Gorkha population into a single UCC? I'm not talking about the Muslims. We
Yes,
have the
yes,
Gorkhas also, we have the
yes,
tribals also. So if you
yes.
could throw some light on that.
You see, as far as I know, this is a state, concurrently state mandated. That, like in Himachal, it was done, and so if it
Uttarakhand.
can be done, Uttarakhand, sorry, if can be done in Uttarakhand, then obviously it can be done here. So that's the assumption. But you have raised a very important issue on the Gorkha, and how do we reconcile and accommodate them, because maintaining their unique identity is also important from a larger sense of the country. I'll have to really leave.
yeah.
I'm very sorry. I'm very
Mm.
sorry,
Thank you
Dada.
so much.
And yeah, yeah, yeah. Mm.
We'll meet on
Thank
Sunday.
you. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Pinakita. Thanks.
Thank you. Jai
Thank you.
Shri Ram. Yeah.
Jai Shri
Jai
Ram.
Shri.
Jai Shri Ram.
Jai Shri Ram.
Okay, so now we'll take questions, and then also we will take also your last. Okay, where what happened? Something went wrong. What? Okay. Yeah, it is fine now. Okay. So we will take some questions. Also, we will take. I think let's take from Debuda, a senior citizen. So your first three policy decisions, if and when a BJP government is formed in West Bengal, what they would be?
Number one is some clear policy decision on the madrasas. They, this has to be a very clear policy decision. Whether we want to continue with the madrasa, whether we want to have a separate madrasa board, separate madrasa exams, this has to be a clear policy. What are we up to? My expectation would be that everybody should study in a normal school and madrasa should be an alternative. Apart from studying in a school, you can go to the madrasa. But basically, you must be in a public school, like any normal child. This is one expectation. And number two expectation is to depoliticize the administration in a clearly policy way. The administration is not a citizens' administration now. It is an outpost of Trinamool Congress. That if the BJP falls into the trap of being in power and controlling the police and sending the police to the TMC people, that would be a very wrong thing to do. This has to stop. This cannot continue in a civilized society. This is number two I am seeking. And number three is this whole lot of hawkers all over the city. There has to be some policy decision regarding this. This cannot be free for all. Wherever you wish, you pay the ruling party dada and sit down with a thela and start selling. This has become too much. All the showrooms, they are losing their people who have invested money, people who are in genuine business, legitimate business, and this has resulted, the GSDP of Bengal and the tax ratio is so abysmally low compared to other states. This is just because of the hawkers. Everybody sitting on the footpath, it not paying one paisa of tax to the government, but they are generating some kind of GSDP because of the landlocked states and the legacy of 140 years of Calcutta being the capital. Even today, you will be surprised. Orissa places like Berampur, Orissa places like Kotok, they come to Calcutta for wholesale garment purchase, ready-made garment of children. So these are all sectors which is not contributing anything to the government exchequer. So the tax to GSDP ratio is abysmally low in Bengal. This has to be just like Modi ji has brought in GST and formalized a whole lot of sector who are now within the bank folds because of UPI payment and GST. Likewise, we need to have a hawker policy. You see, at the end of the day, these hawkers are trying to make an honest living. Let's be frank about it. So the government should facilitate such honest citizens who are working hard to earn their living. But it cannot be a free for all. It cannot be a hindrance to citizens' comfort. It cannot occupy the footpath as the way they want. So these are the three things which need to be done in Bengal at this moment.
One question to you, which was asked by Neon, but Neon, your question is FIR territory, so I don't want to be in
Yes, sir.
police custody. So Neon asked a question. I will rephrase the question so that it becomes safe. So Neon is asking, societies like, let's say, Netherlands, France, or even Britain is becoming Islamicized in so many ways. Uh, Devda, you are there? Devda, you have frozen. Devda, are you able to hear me? No, I think Devda again has lost connection. Okay, so I will ask this question to Bijitda. Bijitda.
Sure, sure.
So
Mhm.
Neon has asked a question that can we use policies like UCC and other methods, constitutional methods, to actually I think Devuta has joined again. Let me remove this one. Yeah, Devuta, you can hear. Can you hear us?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Yes,
so
yes.
Neon was asking a question that can we use UCC and other constitutional policy methods to actually de-radicalize the Islamic communities so that they become integrated rather than becoming a problem like we see in Britain, where we have rape gangs
There are
roaming around.
only two ways that we can integrate this Muslim community.
Mm,
One is strict administrative action for all things illegal. You just
mm,
can't have discussion with people who are throwing stones at the trains. So the administrative action has to be very strict, and you have to call in the sane people of the society and tell them that you better reform yourself. Nobody from outside can reform a society. Our Hindu society has always been reformed by people from inside the society. It is not outsiders who had come to the Hindu society and reformed us. So, any reform of the society or bringing them into mainstream has to be organic, has to be within the community. Will that happen? I am not hopeful at all.
Okay, Bijitda, what do you think that can we use tools, policy decisions to actually de-radicalize the society and make it like people who can coexist with us?
Right, right. I mean, as I said, like I strongly believe that we have, if with proper schemes and the rule of law, we can actually reverse the situation. I strongly believe that. Um, and along with that, obviously, I mean, the school curriculum, bringing more jobs. These are obviously some auxiliary things that we can do. Other than that, and it is largely connected to the see. West Bengal is a very special place in also in the sense that West Bengal maintain a kind of feudalistic structure, and you know what is my this perpetual complaint, right? That we have only one city which is of such a big scale, and the narrative that grows out of that city, it actually over dominates the narrative of the whole of Bengal. So the people from that city controls the newspaper, the news media, cinema, culture, songs, everything, right? So first of all, I mean, I really think we should focus on developing other cities like Durgapur. You know, Durgapur and Chandigarh, they were actually they started, they were born in the same time, right? Now see, where is Chandigarh and where is Durgapur? Other than Durgapur, you have to develop and redevelop like Siliguri, Raiganj, and all these places. Obviously, maybe Bishnupur, Purulia. So all these remote sort of places, we have small towns, tier two, tier three towns. We have to develop them, and like if we are bringing more and more service sector jobs, I think it is possible because it's not like smart people are not coming out of these places. It's just that they don't have any say, they don't have much say in the mainstream sort of politics and narrative of Kolkata. And there are I mean, things. There are various lines along which they are even ridiculed. Right. For example, even the folk culture, other, let's say, Baul culture. Take this example. I mean, it has not gotten that much representation. Now there are various festivities and all these things which don't get much representation in the mainstream Kolkata sort of narrative, which is borderline Marxist, secular jihadi kind of narrative, right? So I think more representation we have to give to these cities. We have to develop these cities, social and political infrastructure there, and obviously economic infrastructure there. And yeah, so bringing, like, we have to control the narrative. We have to be Hindus, Bengali Hindu have to be in control of the narrative. So recently, what I've been trying to do, along with a few people of my age, we are actually planning to file a petition where we are going to appeal that the Indian state need to acknowledge the Hindu genocide, and we have to bring the genocide reversal schemes. So all these kind of things we have to sort of make people aware of, right? That these things happened, and if you don't care about what happened in 1946, right, 16th of August, Direct Action Day, or later in October in Noakhali, like these sort of mistakes, if you commit again, like the history will repeat, and this time it will be much more brutal than what happened in 1946 or 47. So I think, yeah, raising awareness, reversing the genocide, decolonizing the Bengal society, right? I mean, the Bengali society also got colonized by these foreign ideas like Marxism, communism, socialism, and all these kind of disease, so to say, right? We can only counter them with our traditional native narratives, like Mongol Kavya, like again another area on which I have been working. Ki the whole darshan outside the mainstream urban Calcutta, and again I'm using the word Calcutta very consciously. It is actually this Mangal Kavya darshan, by which we, like, people from Midnapur or Purulia, Bankura, Dinajpur, we run by that sort of philosophy, the Mongol Kabru philosophy. So these sort of things we need to bring forth in the mainstream literature and in the mainstream philosophy in order to understand what was the source of this whole Bangaliana, right? Because as you know, like even in places like Encyclopedia Britannica, they are writing that Bengali community actually were born when Khilji invaded this place. And this is the encyclopedia is writing this kind of narrative, right? The only way we can counter this is through Charyapad, or Mongol Kabbo, and all this sort of philosophy, and by bringing forth our ancient sort of belief that were there, right? And there are ample literature, ample research that went on in this area in the 1950s, 60s, 70s. I know a lot of people who has worked on along this line, right? Worked on these topics of local native Bengali culture. So I would like to see more research in these areas, and more talk about these sort of darshan, culture, baulgan in the mainstream Bengali narrative. This is one way to proceed, actually, to counter the Islamization of Bengal.
Okay, so yeah.
Mhm.
One thing, the de-radicalization of the society, I would like to just add the financial aspect of it.
Right.
Radicalization has become very remunerative these days, if you know what I mean.
Right.
People who are into this radicalized business, they're getting huge money. You cannot take away a poor person, from that kind of money. You see, whenever somebody is caught in a bomb blast or anything, what kind of money there's that is coming into this bank account, and what through banking channels. So that is a huge problem for de-radicalizing these people who are into this business. Money is a big motivator. All all religious things is there, and secondly, what Bijit was saying, it's all good to hear, bringing in good schemes, giving them jobs and all. But all these have not solved their problem in America. The best of educated has gone and blown away
No, no, I'm
the
not
World Trade
expecting
Center.
that. I'm not expecting that uneducated peaceful will do some great service job. I'm not expecting it from them at all. But
No,
so
I'm
on that,
what I'm no, Vijita, what I'm trying to say is you cannot de-radicalize this society through good education or anything. The more
right,
they are educated, they are becoming more sophisticated in terrorism.
agreed.
That's
I
all.
agree with this. I
That's all.
agree with this.
You,
Like talking about our camp, let's say Joy Goswami, right? You see the
huh.
tendency of these intellectuals, Kolkata intellectuals. They don't talk that much about the Islamic radicalization within Bengal, West Bengal specifically, because they know they have a market back in Bangladesh. The moment a Sunil Gangopadhyay or a Joy Goswami or a Srijato talk about the radicalization problem in West Bengal, the Bangladeshi people will stop buying their book, their
But they're
literature.
shit scared also. They're shit scared of the Muslim community also. which they
Yeah,
show
but
off as a
but I
secularism.
think mainly it is economy driven because the way they talk about আমি এই উৎসবে গিয়েছিলাম বইমেলায় এত ইয়ে দেখে মুগ্ধ হয়ে গেলাম আমি মানে the way they talk and the way they present their case it is very evident they are zimmi in their mind. Yes, so they are afraid, and they are economic zimmi as well কি ওদের কিনে রেখে দিয়েছে সেই জন্য ওদের
Right.
মুখটা খুলছে না.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Okay,
Bhupendra, any
so
more
we have,
question?
yeah. So one question, two. I'll club the question. So Boishalidi has asked this question. So let me before I let Debuda go. So Boishalidi is asking why we need a waqf, why we need a madrasa board, and third question was how a family of 6, 7, 8 can feed themselves. Like club everything into one.
Now, should I answer?
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Right? Yeah. One is the Waqf Act. You see, Waqf is what? Whatever I am giving in the name of Allah. It's a voluntary act on the behalf of the property owner. Now, what are we seeing under Waqf Act? They are just grabbing lands and declaring this has become. So the Waqf Act is not the problem. The problem is doing whatever you like in the name of Waqf Act. So Waqf
I
Act can
will
be there. Who?
I will I will just interject one part because
Huh?
why work is a problem. Let me explain. I'll take 1 minute. See, you had a Mughal rule, correct? So you had a like in most parts of India, including Central India and North India, you had a Muslim rule, and at that time, a lot of land was confiscated from Hindus and taken over by the state, and that state was Muslim. So, if you're going to allow Waqf as a concept, a lot of that land which was grabbed from Hindus and it became state land, it will be given to some Muslim because it belonged to some Muslim Chamindar and it originally belonged to Hindus. So, there are a few things which needs to be understood that okay, 500 years of 500 years of North India ruled by Mughals does have a lot of issues which manifests in this work act. So
No,
that's
there
my
is
perspective.
two part of it. Number
Hmm.
one is
Hmm.
uh, let us not blame the Mughals for everything because they
Hmm.
have been building. They have
Islamic
been
rule.
building.
Islamic rule.
No, they have been building majars on railway platforms. Are we able to stop it? Have the Mughals done it? They are having majars on the top of a flyover. Are we stopping it? Have the Mughals done it? What are we doing on our part? We are not doing enough. So this is one part. And another is Waqf Act ideally should not be there. But what I am talking about is Waqf Act as per the Act. Why I am talking? Because there's something called salami technique. I don't know whether you are aware of it. In
Yeah,
every
I know, I know.
negotiation, there's a salami technique. When you grab the whole food, he will not let it go. So you take it piece by piece. At some point of time, he realizes that the whole thing is gone. Right? So Waqf Act, part one should be only as per Waqf Act. And then part two, amendments, and part three, abolition. So this should be slowly done. And before they realize what is happening. Now, this madrasa thing, my idea would be you have to study in a normal school. Madrasa can be a vacational education. Say you go there during the summer vacation or winter vacation. And what I,
Just one question, just
huh,
one thing. Why state has to fund madrasa? That's
no way, it should
illogical.
not. It should not, especially when the Hindu schools are getting closed. There are hundreds of Hindu schools which are getting closed for paucity of funds, for paucity of students. Parents are taking their children to English medium missionary schools. So there is no point in the government funding the madrasa education and collecting this money from the Hindu population. It is we who are financing. All the Hindu temples are being fleeced. That money is going into madrasa education. You are very correct on that. There's no point of the government feeding this madrasa education, which is producing only radicals, nothing else. Because Nasiruddin Shah, Shabana Azmi, Farhan Akhtar, Have they gone to madrasa? They're enjoying life. And they're telling the poor people to go to madrasa. Have Firad Hakim's daughter gone to madrasa? They have studied in English medium schools. And they're sending the slum dwellers to the madrasa. So there's no point in having a madrasa, more so as you pointed out, with government money.
Yeah. And the last part, like how a family of 10, husband, wife, and 8 kids are able to feed themselves, and who is funding their food.
This is a thing I think Bijeet should answer. Mane, on my last flight, uh, on my last flight to Chennai, I found a family from Purulia, a Muslim family, 8 people traveling on the flight. I said, "What's wrong with you people? What's?" They said that Abbu ka cancer ho gaya. So 8 people are traveling. Average 8,000 rupees is the fare. 64,000 one way, 64,000 back. Who is funding them? That
Right.
is also an NIA investigation. That deserves an NIA investigation. Be that.
No, no, I mean, absolutely. It is us who are funding, definitely. Uh, and our inability actually to actually gather and raise these topics, right? And I think it is not Purulia jaisa kafi. If you see in Bombay, what happened in Bombay airport, like the whole family go for Hajj, and even after that they get the Hajj subsidy. While
So
a
hot
rickshawala
subsidy
in
is no more. Hot subsidy
no,
is
no,
no more.
no. It is still there in some part. Ki, the Indian government they actually they
No,
arrange for
central
the
government
train.
subsidy is off. Maybe some
Right, right,
state government is giving.
right. So and then the other point was that for a rickshawala in Kolkata, you also then give the Tirtha Yatra subsidy na for Ram Janmabhoomi. So a lot of abnormalities are there. Like you see in every town uh, across the country, it may be Bankura, Purulia, Kolkata, the central land, right, of a city. It is captured by the missionaries, right? Large
Rachi,
land
Rachi. Rachi also.
everywhere. You come to Bankura, like the whole place is basically Christian college, Christian collegiate school, Christian church here at the center of the town. And nowadays they are also started. They have started to show the cross in each and every gate, propagating their message at the very center of the town. How like these are Abrahamizing, these are colonizing philosophies or doctrines, not even philosophies. How Indian can let this happen to themselves, राइट कि कहीं पे कोई मद्रासा में पढ़ाया जा रहा है हिंदू काफिर है उन्हें मार दो हिंदुओं के साथ क्या किया जा सकता है राइट ये क्वेश्चन होता है जिसको मद्रासा में उसके लिए क्या बोलते हैं वो क्वेश्चन निकलता है और जवाब देना पड़ता है जो हाफिज होते हैं so all these sort of bullshit I'm sorry to say the word but it need to stop like we cannot disgrace ourselves at the and we cannot put ourselves at the hand of these people these abrahamic people और ये जब तक नहीं करेंगे तब तक उन्हें सब्सिडी भी मिलेगा उनके सिलेबस भी रहेंगे रामधनु भी रामधनु होता रहेगा स्नान गोसल हो जाएगा ये चेंज तो आता रहेगा नाउ पीपल से গাঁও में लोग बोल रहे हैं লাইক আমার আমার গায়ে কথাবার্তা বলছি যে এইসব গোসল ফোসল পড়াচ্ছে এগুলো এগুলো আসছে কোথা থেকে বিকজ দে ডোন্ট ইভেন নো এই ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজ গুলো তো আমরা যতক্ষণ না এগুলো নিয়ে এগুলো এগুলো বরং সিলেবাসে আনা উচিত যে this sort of derangement and distortion of history has happened even in the like the history of syllabus right education how it happened like how it was distorted at the hand of first five central education minister and then especially in Bengal there is a book by so the history of Fadwa I guess or the eminent historian and their lies I think Arun Shori he has mentioned that in 1989 and 1990 how the communist government they actually they came up with circular that actually told that okay these lines कि महमूद गजनी ने हिंदू मंदिर तोड़ा था ये सब किया था these needs to be deleted for the sake of communal harmony now this whole thing is a history in itself that also need to be taught to Bengali so that this sort of mistake we don't do it ever again.
I think this all this
Okay.
is basically happening because of the non-organization or consolidation of the Hindu society as such. Because you see, when the whole society is up to eating biryani all over the state, so this is a societal problem where people are getting drawn to all kinds of wrong things. Alright, is that the only food available in the state of Bengal? Number one. And number two, people are shit scared of Muslims. Let me be very frank. There's nothing called secularism. There's nothing called broad mindedness or global citizenship. Not a single Bengali intellectual has the guts to speak for Taslima Nasrin, to speak
Right.
for Salman Rushdie. Not a line. Any in Bengali intellectual, if he can speak, I am ready to fund the to and fro plane fare of
Exactly.
Taslima Nasrin. You bring her. You bring her to Calcutta. Let her speak.
Right.
Nobody
Exactly.
has the right. Nobody has the guts to bring them. And the secondly, such a global event when Salman Rushdie was attacked, he lost an eye. He's a brilliant writer. Not one Bengali writer had the guts to utter a word. So these are spineless intellectuals. These are bootlicking intellectuals. They have no
Right.
value. Nobody listens to them. They have their own echo chambers within which he scratches his back, another scratches another's back. I don't think they have got any value or credibility. And it's time we stop considering them as intellectuals.
Right.
Who the hell is Joy Goswami? Who the hell?
That's
He's going and bloody licking the Hawaii slipper of the Mamata Banerjee. And he's an intellectual? Parambrata Banerjee. Who is he? He's Soumitra Chatterjee. Who is he? What is his achievement? And he is occupying so much of media space. Why?
right.
Because the society has become a lalu. Society looks up to them as a great people. So this societal change is a more required thing as this moment. The society getting dragged like to the biryani handi has to stop and realize where we belong and what we love and what we like.
That's why I'm saying we have to decentralize this narrative that is coming from Kolkata, like this feudalistic structure coming from Kolkata. We have to build other cities. Bengal needs cities like like developed cities, like Durgapur. Durgapur is a proper planned city. Yeah? You can grow it from where it is, right? There is Siliguri and a lot of other places in North India and North Bengal. তো ইনকো লাইক আমাদের এগুলোকে যদি না বাড়ায় তাহলে অবশ্যই কলকাতা থেকে যারা আছে ওরা ক্লাব বানাবে অ্যান্ড কলকাতার কালচারাল ক্লাব দ্য কালচারাল ক্লাবস ইন ক্যালকাটা ওখান থেকে যে দুর্নীতি হয় ওগুলো তো আলাদা তদন্ত হওয়া দরকার লাইক সমস্ত যে ব্ল্যাক মানিগুলো হয় ওগুলো ক্যালকাটার ক্লাবগুলো দিয়ে সাদা করা হয় ক্যালকাটার ক্লাবকে অনুদান দেওয়া হয় দিয়ে ওরা হয়তো 5% 10% রেখে বাকি টাকাটাকে সাদা করে দেয় ক্যালকাটার ক্লাবগুলো যেগুলো থেকে এই আনন্দ চর্চা হ্যাঁ তারপরে আরো জানি না কি কি সব ওখান থেকে বেরোয় তো আরো
Another point,
Jinder,
অনেক
Bhupenda,
narrative
which
বেরোয়।
Bhupenda,
yeah.
another point
So,
with Mr. Sai Deepak when he was in Calcutta, which is very important. I don't know whether you agree to it. This narrative of Bangali Hindu, this has to stop and change to Hindus of Bengal. Because
Right, right.
we are trying to restrict ourselves to Bengali Hindu. It is
Exactly.
not important that what happens to Bengali Hindu. It is very important to have what happens to the Hindus of Bengal. So this
Right.
small nomenclature, what we use has. I think I am in agreement with what Deepak has
Mhm.
spoken, and his other point was this Hindutva thing. What they are trying to sell, it's a North Indian thing or Go Boloi thing. This Hindutva, Bengal is the birthplace of Hindutva.
Right.
That we have to establish. Much before
yeah, and
Hindutva came to other parts of India, Hindutva was in Bengal.
Right. And
yeah,
Deluda, I think you were off for some time when I talked about this. Ki Bengal has the potential to surpass this Gujarat, right? Ki Gujarat and Hindutva जैसे वो একটা craze বানিয়ে রেখেছে. Bengal, if we nurture it carefully, Bengal can be the epicenter and the center of Hindutva of the India and the whole world because it originated from this place. অ্যান্ড
Yes.
এই বলে না যে বাংলা কখনো গুজরাট হতে পারে না, বাংলা গুজরাট হতে পারে এবং গুজরাটকে ছাপিয়ে যেতে পারে।
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So thank you, Devuda. You can take a leave. Maybe we will invite you for some other program that we are planning with of the Pinakida. So that will be a adda kind of thing that we are planning. So we will invite you to that program as well in Bengali, if permitting. So last words to you before we let you go, and then we will also invite the audience to come and talk to us.
No, I am there. I have my own time. You can continue.
আচ্ছা,
Okay, fine. So like whenever you want to leave, you can leave, and then we have one audience has come. Bohiragato, are you
বহিরাগত।
there in the stream?
नमस्कार दादा लोग.
নমস্কার।
Yeah.
I am a Hindu from Bengal. So so yeah, many topics were discussed. तो हिंदी में बोलूँ तो चलेगा ना?
हाँ हाँ.
Yes, you can speak. बोलो बोलो.
तो मैं यही कह रहा था, सबसे पहले चुनाव के विषय में बात कर लूं. मुझे लग रहा है ये वेव इलेक्शन है. जो भी जीतेगा वो 180-200 जीतेगा, ऐसा होगा. मुझे वो मिडल पाथ नहीं दिखता है, क्योंकि मुझे क्या लगता है कि ये जो 15% वोट बढ़ा है और 90% वोट गिरा है, इसमें एक ही चीज है कि हिंदू लोग निकल के वोट किए, और कोई तर्क नहीं है, क्योंकि मुसलमान लोग हमेशा से ही ज्यादा वोट करते आए हैं. तो 90% अगर वोट परसेंट बढ़ा है, मतलब हिंदू लोग आकर के किए. अब बात यही है कि उनके मन में क्या है. क्या ये वो हिंदुओं ने ये एक तो छापा वोटिंग हुआ है कि नहीं, पता नहीं. दूसरा है कि क्या सोच के, अगर हिंदुओं ने आकर वोट किया भी है तो क्या सोचकर वोट किया. क्या लक्ष्मी भंडार बचाने के लिए वोट किया है, या बांग्ला अस्मिता को बचाने के लिए वोट किया है कि नहीं, भाजपा आएगा तो हिंदी थोप देगा, हिंदी साम्राज्यवाद ले आएगा, तो हमको बंगाली संस्कृति बचाने के लिए दीदी को वोट करना होगा. क्या ये सोच के वोट किया है, या फिर ये सोच के वोट किया कि नहीं, हमको हिंदुत्व को बचाना, नहीं तो फिर हमको बांग्लादेश बना दे. तो वो मानसिकता पर निर्भर करता है. पर जिस मानसिकता पर भी वोट होगा, एकदम मेरा मानना है एक चटिया वोट होगा. तो मुझे तो यही लग रहा है. दूसरा है, जो आप लोग बात कर रहे थे कि इंडस्ट्रीज इन बंगाल, मैं कभी भी इसमें तो मैं व्यक्तिगत रूप से नहीं मानता हूँ कि हमें डायरेक्टली सर्विसेज के लिए जाना चाहिए. मैन्युफैक्चरिंग इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. इट्स फंडामेंटल टू इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ, और फिर वो धीरे धीरे आप वैल्यू चेन में ऊपर जाते. मैं बोलता हूँ कि अगर इंडस्ट्रियलाइजेशन से पोल्यूशन बढ़ेगा, तो आप ये सब पर कम ध्यान दीजिए. जैसे कार की फैक्ट्रीज, बाइक की फैक्ट्रीज, इन सब पर कम ध्यान दे करके जो एग्रीकल्चर से जुड़े हुए इंडस्ट्रीज है, जैसे फूड प्रोसेसिंग, जैसे टमाटर से उसका सॉस बनाना, या कॉन्ट्रैक्ट फार्मिंग को बढ़ावा दे करके कुछ हाई वैल्यू बनाना. जैसे आलू उग रहा है तो उसका चिप्स बनाना, चिप्स बना के बेचना. केला बन रहा है तो उसका चिप्स बना के बेचना. वो सब इंडस्ट्री से शुरू कर सकते. जूट मिल्स दोबारा से खड़ा करने का सोचता है. फिर धीरे धीरे वी गो अप द वैल्यू चेन, और साइड ही साइड हम लोग सर्विसेज इंडस्ट्री जैसे आईटी सेक्टर को लाने की चेष्टा कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि कोलकाता में वो टैलेंट है भी. मिल जाएंगे लोग.
हॉस्पिटल, होटल.
हाँ, वो तो है. आई अग्री. हॉस्पिटल वगैरह में तो चाहिए भी, एंड दैट इज ग्रेट. जैसे केरला का हेल्थ केयर को बहुत अच्छा माना जाता है, दो केरला का कोई ऐसा अपना इंडस्ट्री बहुत बड़ा है नहीं. वैसे हम लोग बंगाल को भी खड़ा कर सकते. एंड वी हैव अ लॉट ऑफ एजुकेटेड पीपल हियर. तो वो हो सकता है. तीसरा है जो रेडिकलाइजेशन का प्रॉब्लम था. पहली बात तो मुझे लगता है किसी भी आइडियोलॉजी को अगर आपको टारगेट करना है, तो सबसे पहले उसके एलीट को टारगेट करो, जो उस विचारधारा को सबसे ज्यादा लोगों तक पहुंचाते. अब आप समझ लीजिए मैं किस एलीट की बात कर रहा हूँ. उनकी फंडिंग को चोक करो. सबसे बड़ी बात, ये जो स्टेट से इनको पेट्रोनेज मिलता है, कि माइनॉरिटी कमीशन है, माइनॉरिटी मिनिस्ट्री है, ये सब बंद करो। ये मिनिस्ट्री नहीं होने चाहिए, ये कमीशन हटाओ, इसमें एक पैसा फंड नहीं जाना चाहिए हमारा टैक्स पेयर का। बोलो ये सब बंद करो, तुम हज के लिए मदरसों मस्जिदों को एक पैसा नहीं दे सकते। ये कहीं ना कहीं हम सबको बाहर निकल के बोलना पड़ेगा कि सेक्युलर देश में आप माइनॉरिटी के नाम पे एक पैसा नहीं देंगे। खाली बंगाल लेवल पर नहीं, पर ये हमारा डिमांड नेशनल लेवल पर होना चाहिए। फिर फॉरेन फंडिंग इनका रोको, जहां से इनका फॉरेन फंडिंग आ रहा है उसको एकदम कट करो, ये एक है। फिर तीसरा है कि जो वायलेंट स्पीच दे इनके जो भी चलाते संस्थाओं को, सबको उठा उठा के डालो अंदर जेल। नो कॉम्प्रोमाइज विथ लॉ एंड ऑर्डर। ये नहीं कि अरे इतने लोग इनको मानते हैं तो इनको छोड़ दो। वो कोविड के समय मौलाना के सामने एकदम पैर पड़ गए थे, वो मौलाना भड़का रहा है लोगों को लॉस तोड़ने के लिए, उसके सामने पैर पे गिर गए, रिक्वेस्ट करने चले गए। ये सब नहीं चले। जो लॉ तोड़ रहा है, कोई भी पद प्रतिष्ठा हो उसकी, उसको आप अंदर डालो, और कोई उपाय नहीं है। और एक बात है कि हिंदूज का एक बहुत बड़ा डिसएडवांटेज है कि वी डोंट हैव द फ्रीडम टू सेट अप इंस्टीट्यूशन। एक तो हमारे मंदिर इन्होंने हड़प रखे हैं, दूसरा है आरटी ला करके जितने उसके बाद स्कूल बंद हुए हैं हिंदुओं के, कभी इससे पहले बंद नहीं हुए। आरटी में जो वो ऑब्लिगेशन थोपा है मेजॉरिटी स्कूल में कि 25% आपको इकोनॉमिकली बैकवर्ड लोगों को शिक्षा देने पड़ेगी बिना उनसे फीस लिए, उससे क्या हुआ है कि इतना बोझ पड़ा हिंदू स्कूल्स पर कि वो बंद होने लगे। और अभी जो थोड़े बहुत हिंदू स्कूल बचे हैं वो इतना ज्यादा फीस चार्ज कर रहे हैं क्योंकि उनको चलाने के लिए जो बच्चे कुछ स्टूडेंट्स हैं उनसे फीस चार्ज करना पड़ेगा, नहीं तो फिर उनका चलेगा नहीं। तो इतना ज्यादा फीस देख करके पेरेंट्स नहीं भेजते उन स्कूलों में, वो उल्टा भेजते मिशनरी स्कूलों में, जहाँ पर एक तो उनको बाहर से फंडिंग मिलती है, गवर्नमेंट से भी माइनॉरिटी के नाम पर फंडिंग मिल जाती है, ऊपर से आरटीई का कोई ऑब्लिगेशन भी नहीं। ये सब है। फिर जो
चलाने चलाने वाला तो चला रहा है, रामकृष्ण मिशन, भारत सेवाश्रम संघ, इन लोग का स्कूल तो अच्छा ही चल रहा है।
हाँ, इन लोगों को ये लोग चला रहे, पर मैंने रामकृष्ण मिशन का सुना था उन्होंने माइनॉरिटी स्टेटस डिमांड किया था।
कुछ भी हो, है तो हिंदू ही।
हाँ, है हिंदू, पर वो माइनॉरिटी स्टेटस डिमांड करे, ये बहुत बड़ी बात है।
नहीं, आप किस लिए किया था उसको पूरा जानिए, आधा मत जानिए। उनके ऊपर सीपीएम लोग आके हमला किया था, तो उसलिए सुप्रीम कोर्ट में जाके इन्होंने बोला कि हम लोग माइनॉरिटी इंस्टीट्यूशन है, हमारा ऊपर ये सरकार हमला नहीं कर सकती। तो ये तो एक पोजीशनिंग था, उसको आप पकड़ के मत रखिए, वो हिंदू ही है।
नहीं नहीं, मैं ये नहीं बोल रहा वो हिंदू नहीं है, पर आप देखिए इंसेंटिव क्या है। इंसेंटिव ये है कि अपने आप को हिंदू मत कहो अगर बच के रहना है तो।
या करेक्ट।
स्टार्ट वहीं से होता है, फिर धीरे धीरे जैसे जैसे आप आगे बढ़ते जनरेशन बाय जनरेशन क्या होता है कि वो सच में अपने आप को अलग मानने लगते हैं हिंदू से। जैसे आप देखिए सिख कम्युनिटी के साथ क्या हो रहा है, वो धीरे धीरे बोल रहे हैं हम हिंदू नहीं है। ये लगातार जनरेशन बाय जनरेशन, ईच जनरेशन ये डिवाइड बढ़ते ही जा रहा है। फिर कभी ऐसे जैसे शेड्यूल ट्राइब शुरू ऐसे ही हुआ था कि आप अपर कास्ट के विरुद्ध बोलिए, वो आप पर अत्याचार करता है, पर धीरे धीरे आप देखिए शेड्यूल ट्राइब बोलता है कि हम हिंदू ही नहीं, हमारा कल्चर ही अलग है। और फिर
अपने आप एक बार ये जो सिख
फिर वो क्रिश्चियनिटी में जाने लगते।
सिख लोग जो बोलने लगा हम हिंदू नहीं है, उसका इफेक्ट ये है कि पंजाब में आज क्रिश्चियन कन्वर्शन इज एट द हाईएस्ट, सबसे ज्यादा क्रिश्चियनिटी में।
वही मैं कह रहा हूँ,
समझना चाहिए कि हिंदू में रहने से ही उनका फायदा है।
वही मैं कह रहा हूँ। और ये सब चीज के लिए इंसेंटिव स्टेट ने क्रिएट किए कि आप अपने आप को हिंदू आइडेंटिटी से जितना अलग दिखाएंगे एज अ माइनॉरिटी, आपको उतना बेनिफिट्स मिलेगा, उतना आपको गवर्नमेंट इंटरफेरेंस से छूट मिलेगा। तो ये सब इंसेंटिव्स होते हैं, आप अपने इंस्टीट्यूशंस को और अच्छे से चला सकते हैं। और ऊपर से पॉलिटिक्स भी ऐसी है कि जितना आप हिंदू कल्चर को गाली दे, हिंदू आइडेंटिटी को गाली दे, या हिंदू प्रीस्टहुड को गाली दे कि ब्राह्मण ने अत्याचार किया, उतना आपको पॉलिटिकल सपोर्ट भी मिलेगा कि पार्टीज आपका आपका कॉज लेगी, क्योंकि नैरेटिव वैसा बना के रखा है। तो पहले पहले तो ये खाली पॉस्चरिंग होता है, जैसा आप कह रहे कि दिखाने के लिए कि मुझे बेनिफिट्स चाहिए इसलिए मैं दिखा रहा हूँ कि मैं एंटी हिंदू। पर जब वो नेक्स्ट जनरेशन में जाता है, उनका वो रेटोरिक नेक्स्ट जनरेशन में जाता है, तो वो फिर पॉस्चरिंग नहीं रहता, वो सच में मानने लगते हैं कि हम अलग
अरे
हैं।
ये रेटोरिक ही तो बीजेपी को लाया है। 12 साल से बीजेपी सेंट्रल में है, 19 स्टेट में है। ये सब तो
हाँ,
गंदा रेटोरिक के लिए ही आया है ना।
हाँ बीजेपी आई है और ये बात सच
बेनिफिट
है।
मिल गया।
पर वो अगर बीजेपी जो हिंदू हिंदू समाज को जोड़ने के लिए अगर इसको पॉलिसी लेवल पर इम्प्लीमेंट नहीं करती है, जैसे वो हिंदू इंस्टीट्यूशंस नहीं बनाती है जहां पर हमारा हिस्ट्री पढ़ाया जाए, जहां पर जैसे मान लीजिए एक मंदिर है, उसको फंड्स आ रहे, वो मंदिर फिर एजुकेशन इंस्टीट्यूशंस खोलेगा, जैसे यूनिवर्सिटी खोलेगा, वो हॉस्पिटल खोलेगा, वो
Okay,
लॉयर का कोई फर्म खोलेगा।
wait,
अब
wait,
क्या
wait, wait,
है,
wait. Boiragato, wait. I think you are seeing a change because Andhra Pradesh government is going to build 5,000 Tirupati temples in the region. So you are seeing now a bit of a overturn window moving into the where Hindus will not as hostility as it was there previously. So you are
And Mamata
seeing a
या
Banerjee
policy
also
change.
forced to make a Jagannath temple.
See, Mamata
या
Banerjee and Andhra Pradesh and CBN are two different entities. So I would not like to compare both of them.
No, no, I'm talking ki there she has been forced to go
Hmm.
there.
Yeah, exactly. So the overturn window is moving. So any policy decision cannot happen overnight. That is the how policies work. So
Now,
see,
I
the
feel
minority ministry.
उपेंद्र, मेरे को लगता है कि देखो,
Hmm.
ये गवर्नमेंट का काम नहीं है मंदिर बनाना। गवर्नमेंट फैसिलिटेट करेगा, लेकिन हिंदू
Hmm.
समाज को अपने आप को इकट्ठा बनाना करना है और इसके लिए माहौल तैयार करना। दैट इज माय फीलिंग।
एकदम देबू काका ने जो बोला है, काकू ने, मैं वही कह रहा हूँ कि गवर्नमेंट वो 5,000 मंदिर क्यों बना रहा है। मुझे मेरे मंदिर दे दो, मैं 1,00,000 मंदिर बना लूंगा, मुझे वो चाहिए। क्योंकि अभी चंद्रबाबू नायडू का गवर्नमेंट है आंध्रा में, जो
Wait,
फेवरेबल है टू हिंदूज, तो वो बना
Boiragato,
देगा।
hold on, Boiragato. You can't find five people who would stand in the road and ask for the temple to be free.
तो
Right
उसके
now,
लिए
if you ask, wait, it is Hindu society's problem that you have to understand. You cannot find five people who stand on the street and ask that I want my temples back. Not even five
पर
Hindus will
कहीं
now
से तो
will
बात
do it
शुरू
for you.
करनी पड़ेगी ना, हम बात तो बंद नहीं
No,
कर
no,
सकते। हम
I'm
बात
not
तो
saying
बंद नहीं
that.
कर सकते, आप मुझे
No,
पहले
no.
मेरी बात पूरी
Hmm,
कर लेनी दीजिए। मुझे बारी
hmm.
बात, हम लोग पहले ही सोसाइटी पर पहुंच जाते। ठीक है, सोसाइटी का इश्यूज है, इसमें अवेयरनेस क्रिएट करना है, मैं बता रहा हूँ करना क्या है, उसके बाद अवेयरनेस
Hmm.
क्रिएट करना एक अलग डिस्कशन। मैं कह रहा हूँ कि ये गवर्नमेंट है तो वो 5,000 मंदिर बना रही है। अब सत्ता तो कभी भी परिवर्तित हो सकती है, दूसरा गवर्नमेंट आएगा तो वो 5,000 मंदिर आप ही के अगेंस्ट यूज होंगे। वही मैं बता रहा हूँ, वो इंस्टीट्यूशन पर कंट्रोल किसका है, दैट्स द मेन पॉइंट। वही, और वही मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि हिंदू सोसाइटी को स्टेट से इंडिपेंडेंट होना पड़ेगा, कि कोई भी गवर्नेंस में रहे, हमारा सिविलाइजेशन चलता रहे, हमारी हमारा जो समाज है वो आगे बढ़ता रहे, ऐसा सिचुएशन में अपने आप को लाना है। पर उसके लिए तो सबसे पहले हिंदू सोसाइटी में ये सोशलिज्म का जो भूत सवार है उसको तोड़ना पड़ेगा, कि सरकार ये कर दे, सरकार वो कर दे, सरकार मुझे ये दे दे। हिंदू समाज को बोलना होगा कि भाई सरकार जीवन से निकलो, तुम हमको अपने अनुसार जीने दो। सबसे पहले तो वो माइंड तैयार करना पड़ेगा। और वो मुझे नहीं लगता कि कोई भी पार्टी उसके लिए तैयार है। एवरी पार्टी वांट्स टू हैव सम लेवल ऑफ कंट्रोल ओवर हिंदू सोसाइटी, क्योंकि हिंदू इज द मिल्च काउ। ये मेहनत करता है, कमाई करता है, टैक्स भी देगा और अत्याचार भी झेल लेगा चुपचाप। तो ये लड़ाई तो हमें ही लड़नी पड़ेगी। हम लोग जब भी बोलते हैं कि गवर्नमेंट तो हमें फ्रीडम नहीं दे सकता, तो हमें उसके अगेंस्ट खड़ा रहना पड़ेगा, वही बात है। और जो ये बोला गया यूसीसी के बारे में, मैं ये भी एक पॉइंट जोड़ देता हूँ कि एक तो यूसीसी इम्पोर्टेंट है। उसका कारण देखिए ये है कि क्यों मुस्लिम्स अपने पॉपुलेशन को बढ़ा पाते हैं। उसमें बहुत बड़ा कारण है कि मुस्लिम विमेन को वो फ्रीडम और एम्पावरमेंट नहीं दिया गया है जो हिंदू विमेन के लिए किया गया है। तो सबसे पहले तो चार शादी इसीलिए हटाना चाहिए कि मुस्लिम विमेन खुद को एम्पावर्ड महसूस करे। सबसे पहली बात, वो साइकी में चेंज आता है। दूसरा है कि अगर आप चार शादी करने देते हो मुस्लिम पुरुष को, तो क्या होता है कि एक पुरुष चार महिला से शादी किया तो तीन पुरुष अविवाहित रह गए। वो तीन पुरुष कहाँ जाएगा? वो क्राइम करेगा, वो हिंदू लड़कियों का पीछा करेगा, ठीक है। तो ये सब भी बहुत होता है, तो इसीलिए भी बहुत जरूरी है कि ये पॉलीगैमी तो खत्म हो, इसमें कोई डाउट नहीं है। दूसरा है कि मुस्लिम वुमेन को जब प्रॉपर्टी राइट्स मिलेगा, जब राइट्स मिलेगा कि वो मेंटेनेंस मांग सकती है और ये सब, तो वो आप देखेंगे कि पहले पहले तो मुस्लिम वुमेन का भी ब्रेन वॉशिंग हुआ है, पर धीरे धीरे कुछ महिला अपने अधिकार मांगना शुरू करेगी और धीरे धीरे वो समाज में फैलता जाएगा कि ज्यादा से ज्यादा अधिकार मांगना शुरू करेगी। वो बोलेगी मैं इतने बच्चे पैदा नहीं कर सकती, मुझे एजुकेट करना है, अपनी बेटियों को एजुकेट करना है। वो मैं चाहती हूँ उसका करियर हो, वो खाली बच्चा पैदा करते रह जाए 10-10 में नहीं चाहती। वो धीरे धीरे चेंज आता है, पर वो आपको मुस्लिम सोसाइटी को मॉडर्नाइज करना होगा। और कहीं ना
Actually,
कहीं
I
जो
don't
इनका जो
I don't
मुल्ला
agree.
कैप्चर है, इनका जो
ऐसा
मुल्ला
okay.
कैप्चर है वो तोड़ना
Okay.
पड़ेगा।
Okay. Okay. We are out of time.
नहीं,
So
एक छोटा
last
একটা
words.
ছোট
हाँ.
भूपेंद्र,
बोलो 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 बोलो.
regarding empowering of the women, Modi government had taken away the Teen Talak bill and thinking that the women empowerment is happening. And within 1 year, this whole women community in a Borka sat for the Shabag or whatever, that blockade against CA. So these people will never be divided. When they have to oppose the government, when they have to oppose the Hindu society, they are always united. Empowerment से कोई मतलब ही नहीं है. हाँ बोलो.
Okay. Yeah. So okay. So we are out of time. I have to go to office tomorrow.
Okay.
Unfortunately. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah. So last words to all of you, starting with Bijitda, and then yeah, Bijitda.
No, so I think let's see. I mean, the result will be out on 4th.
Hmm.
And then we'll get to know. I mean, all these things we are discussing, maybe they are not, we are thinking ahead, right? Fourth को फिर I think we should reconvene and then discuss these things again. Maybe again will be
Yeah.
if the history
Fourth
repeats.
is fourth is Monday.
Monday, right. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe I'll go home. I can go. I may go home, but if I'm here, we should all reconvene and then discuss it again. Take it from here.
We'll have Debuda and Pinakida also there.
Yes, please.
I
Please.
wish Bijitda is at home with his aloo posto in Bakula.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
No,
Okay. So Debuda.
fourth is definitely going to be good news in the sense all the exit polls that are coming in, barring one, all are giving BJP a victory. The margin and all, as far as Bengal elections are concerned, what we have seen two changes in my lifetime. One is 1977, the another is 2011. In both the changes, the victorious side had a landslide victory. Bengal voters don't stand midway. That's my feeling. So if BJP is winning, it is winning with 190 to 200 seats, or else BJP is losing, remaining
Right.
within 100. That is my estimate. And maybe if BJP is winning with
अच्छा
200
এটা পুরো
seats,
থাকছে দেখা যাচ্ছে
if BJP is winning with 200 seats, maybe CPM might crawl in as a second party. and TMC totally washed out.
Okay, Bohiragato, last words to you.
Yeah.
Yes,
Um,
yes. I mean, she was indeed eating aloo posta actually.
so my last words is that uh, we should keep trying. जहाँ तक रिफॉर्म का सवाल है मुस्लिम सोसाइटी का, गिव देम दी ऑप्शंस टू रिफॉर्म. आप लीगली इम्प्लीमेंट कर दीजिए हर चीज को ऑन पेपर, एंड then we can think about how to implement it in the society. As far as Bengal elections are concerned, this is a do or die in my view, and I think it is going to be a one-way election. It's not going to be a very close election. It is going to be one way, 180, 200 kind of election. Whichever party is going to win is going to win handsomely.
Totally agree with you.
So thank you everybody. Thank you Boiragato. Thank you Debuda. Thank you Bijitda. All for your time. So we'll see you very soon on 4th of
Yes.
May or maybe sooner. So Jai Shri Ram, Vande Mataram.
Jai Shri Ram, Bande Mataram.
Jai Shri Ram.
Jai Shri Ram.